So, hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here to be talking with you with such beautiful students in the beautiful classroom. So, my name is Alessia. I'm an English teacher. I have been teaching English for many years, and I have been teaching children aged from 60 years old till, I don't know, 66 years old, right? And I feel that teaching is really important. And as we spoke with your teacher, Hari Krishna, last week, we need to, to have these sessions when we can exchange our ideas, we can exchange our cultures, we can exchange our traditions. I think it's really important that we can see you, you can see us, and I think my students will be really happy to see you, right? So I will show them our session. So let's have fun.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, and my name is Olga. I'm from Russia, and I'm also an English teacher. And I'm proud to say that teaching is not just my job, it's my passion, and I've been in this field for almost 25 years. I run a Telegram channel for teachers where I share tips, ideas, and inspiration. I also host a program called Conversation with a Teacher. It's a space where we discuss teaching challenges and successes. While I enjoy creating online content, nothing beats offline work for me. Why? Because live communication with children is something truly special. It's real, it's meaningful, and it's unforgettable.
Thank you so much for your introduction. And here are a few students are coming now. And you can see this is our school uniform for girls. This is for our school uniform for girls, and this is for boys. And this is quite common uniform for all the students who are studying public schools in my region.
Great, really beautiful. I do believe in uniforms. Here in Russia, our students don't have to wear uniforms. And as for me, I think a uniform is really important. So if you go to school, you should understand that you came here to study, not to have fun. Yeah, I think you are beneficial. I mean, your students. So we're waiting for your questions, right?
Hi, ma'am. Good morning. This is Tanuja. I am studying 9th class at ZPH School. Can I ask questions?
Okay.
What methods do you find most effective teaching English in Russian students, and why?
Okay. Olga, do you want to answer this question?
Okay. This is a lovely question, and when teaching English to Russian students, I find that a mix of methods methods works wonders. First, I want to start that I usually start with plenty of pictures, flashcards, videos, because they help students connect English words to real life objects or situations. Next, I use repetition and drills, saying words or phrases again and again until they stick. Russian are often very good at grammar, so I build on that strength by explaining rules clearly and giving lots of practice. Sometimes I use role plays and real life scenarios like ordering food in the cafes or asking for directions.
I think, I think pretty much the same with me. We do try to avoid using Russian language while teaching English. We try to do our best to use only the English language while we teach, right? This is for me, it's really important. And of course, we use a lot of different methods. I don't think they differ a lot from the methods used all over the world, right? There are some basic principles, but of course, we have to invent something new, something interesting each time we teach a lesson. Thank you for the question. Thank you.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Shravya, studying 9th standard in ZPHS Alvaram. Can I ask one question, please?
Yes, sure.
How do we incorporate elements of Russia, culture and tradition in your English lessons?
Okay,
Okay.
let me start again.
Sure.
This is where the magic happens. I always try to bring a bit of Russia into a classroom. For example, when we're learning about holidays, I'll compare Christmas in the UK with New Year in Russia, which is such a big celebration for Russians. We might learn how to say "S Novым годом" in English, and what else? St. Valentine's Day, we also have the same holiday, but we have it in July. And the next holiday is Maslenitsa. It's almost the same that Pancake Week in Great Britain. And we use a lot of words like borscht or blini, and sometimes we even learn to cook some dishes.
Mhm. Yeah. And here I should add that for me, it's absolutely different. So I cannot say that I don't use any Russian traditions, any Russian real things in my teaching, but I try to make sure that when my students come to my class, they're involved in the real English, right? And I try to avoid any connections with their native language, with our native culture. I want them to be, how to say, to dive into English, into the culture, into traditions, into the language, because language is not only language, it's the language, right? If you study a language, you should study the culture of another country. And since English is an international language used all over the world, I want my students to believe and to be sure that they can use this language not only in our country, but all over the world. So as for me, I don't really try to incorporate any Russian traditions and Russian real things, reality into my classroom. So it's different for me. Thank you. Thank you. Very good question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Hi, ma'am. This is
Hi.
Pooja.
Hello.
Can I ask a question, ma'am?
Sure.
Yes, sure.
Yes,
What
please.
strategies do you use to keep your students motivated and engaged in learning English?
Okay, let me start this time because I really like this question. This is an absolutely, this is a very good question because for you students, can you say that you can study something when you are bored? Of course not. Adults, the same. We don't do things which we don't like and we don't want to do. So if we teach our children, we teach our students, we want to make sure that they enjoy doing that. You see, this is the key to motivation. So students don't study. There are two reasons when they don't want to study. They are bored. The subject is not interesting for them. They won't study, right? And the second reason is that the level they are taught is not appropriate for them. Okay, let's put it like this: a 7-year-old student, and we explain to him, I don't know, present perfect and past simple. Of course, he won't be interested. So I try to make my students motivated by using these two approaches. They should be interested in what they're doing. They should have fun. They should enjoy it, and they should understand what they're learning. Like there is a very good quotation, something like, where if there is a tension, there will be energy. So students must be concentrated. They must be motivated. They must be engaged. And this is why I try to make my lessons quite fast. So I change different activities and I ask them questions. I think students like to speak. Actually, not only students, everybody, like all people in the world, like to speak about themselves. So I am my favorite person. So to put it like this, right? So I try to make them. I give them voice to speak up. They can explain. They can share. They can, I don't know. Sometimes they say things that they wouldn't say in their native language, in their mother tongue. And this is really important. So for me, motivation is being interested and being active and being in the appropriate age group and the level group. Olga, and what about you?
Well, I fully agree with Alessia. And as Alessia has already said, keeping students motivated is all about making lessons fun and relevant. As for me, I love using games, songs, videos, memes. I also set small achievable goals, like learning 10 new words a week, maybe, and celebrating students' progress, no matter how small. It keeps them very excited. And of course, I always try to make them laugh. Humor is a universal language for me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello,
This is Kavyasri and I'm Teda from ZPHS I11. Can I ask you a question, ma'am?
nice to meet you. Sure.
Sure.
What are the most common mistakes Russian students make when learning English, and how do you address them?
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
Alice, your turn again.
Okay, so so the most I think, and I think Olga and all the other Russian teachers will agree with me that the most difficult area in grammar is articles. In the Russian
Mhm.
language, we don't have articles. So articles is a huge issue for the Russian students to study. And so we do a lot. We try to do really a lot. We have to practice articles since they start learning English. Or say, I am a student. It's a big deal for us, because for us in the Russian language, it will be like I student, and that's it, only 2 words. In the English language, you have to put 4 words. And then sometimes they omit this to be verb, like I student. They don't say I am a student. So articles, the verb to be in the present. And then in the Russian grammar, we have only 3 tenses: present, past, and future. And in the English language, you have 4 present tenses, 4 future tenses, 4 past tenses. So tenses, articles, I think the most important, the worst things to study, the most difficult thing to study. And then present simple, singular, right? I go, he goes, right? It's like nightmare to use this S. These are the most, how to say, difficult things for me to teach and to practice with my students. And a lot of students, they cannot differentiate present simple and present continuous. This is also, they always make mistakes here. And since I know what grammar is really difficult, and the grammar which arise a lot of difficulties, I try to address it as much as I can. The more you practice, the more you forget. No, the more you practice, the less mistakes you make. That's it. Only practicing, drilling, nothing else. Olga, and what about you?
Yeah, I want to add that one of my problems that I usually meet in my classes is pronunciation. And how to fix this? Well, do a lot of listening, a lot of listening and repetition. As Alisa already said, articles, and I want to add that one more problem is word order. A word order can be tricky, especially with questions. In Russian, we do not have fixed word order, but in English, it is fixed. So sometimes I use color-coded sentences builders to help my students see the structure. And as Alessia has already said, patience and practice are key.
Thank you.
So, Alicia, and here is one observation. Actually, when I came to USA in way back to 2022, I had one impression that only Indians can speak as fast as they could all over the world. But when I observed your way of pronunciation, your way of speaking USA, so I had to change my idea of that only Indians can speak fluently. So here my question is, how could you develop such a fluency in English, being a Russian woman?
I don't know really. So let me tell you a joke. So there was a director of mine. Unfortunately, he died when COVID was. He died, and we're really sorry. And he didn't understand my Russian actually. And his assistant, his assistant, now she's my director. She was translating my Russian to his Russian. It's true. He never understood what I'm saying, right? And so I speak really fast in the Russian language the same. Some Russians don't understand me. It's a big issue. And sometimes I try to slow down. When I see a person for the first time, I try to slow down. It's not about English. It's about the Russian language, the same really. And so, and some students, they say that I speak really fast, but students get adapted. It's true. I never slow down at my lessons, and I start speaking really fast since my students start learning English. So they get used to it very, very easily. So the issue is only with the adults, no matter English or Russian. So it's the problem. So I just speak really fast. That's it. It's not about
that's
something
true. That's
extraordinary.
True, Harry, Alessia speaks Russian really fast. And if you are not used to her speech, it's like, oh, what is she talking about? That's true. And she speaks English slowly for me because of your Russian.
Yes, during my stay in USA, first 2-3 days, actually, I was completely baffled and puzzled by way of speech, in fact. So we too got used to her way of speech, I mean, the conversation. So definitely, I must say that it's a gift for her. I don't know how could she obtain this fluency and command over the English and of course over your Russian language. So I have to appreciate this great lady from Russia.
My name is Anusha. I am a 9th grader from JPH School, Alavaram. Here I would like to ask you a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Sure.
Can you recommend any specific resources or tools that have been particularly helpful in teaching English to your students?
I think Olga is really good at this.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite topics, and I'm among both of us. I'm the professional in this topic. And there are tons of different resources that we can use for our lessons, sites, bots, different AIs. But my favorite is YouTube, of course, because we can take a lot of, get from it a lot of things that we can use for our lessons. It's directions, sites, small talks, and everything. I use a lot of books. I use ChatGPT and different AIs for drawing. For example, sometimes we describe uniform, for example, dream uniform. The topic was my dream uniform. So my students wrote prompts, and then they put these prompts into AI to get a drawing from it. And that was really fun. Sometimes we create avatars through special applications. And what's more, different games, computer games, games on the phones. What else? I don't remember.
There are loads, yeah. I'm not as good as technology as Olga is, and so I use paper a lot, like colored pencil and everything. Sometimes my students, when they have free time at the end of the lesson, we can just play Hangman. I don't know. This is a very easy game and they enjoy it a lot. Sometimes we play bingo and all kinds of things. So resources, I guess everything can be resource. Just everything can be resource. Last lesson, I made a video of the classroom, and so I sent it to my students, and their homework was to write a sentence using their RIS-TERA, to write sentences about a classroom, the description of the classroom. So they were watching a video, and they were writing a text practicing their RIS-TERA. There is a cupboard in the classroom, and so on. So I guess for a good teacher, everything can be resource. Am I right, Olga? Just anything.
Yes.
We look outside the window. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And I even made a keyboard on the floor for my students, and they type words that we study with their feet. And that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, creation is like the key to success here. Yeah.
Thank you.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तव जय गान जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत